Hello and welcome to Time About the Movies Flashback, as we're finally at the halfway point of 1986. We've got 4 movies to take a look at on the pre-4th of July weekend. Pre-Thanksgiving weekend, what's wrong with me? Pre-4th of July weekend, June 27th, 1986. And we got a couple of memorable movies, especially our first movie, Danny DeVito, Bette Midler, Judge Reinhold, Helen Slater in the Zucker Brothers is Ruthless People from Disney.
Meet Mr. Stone. He wanted to kill Mrs. Stone.
My only regret, Carol, is that the plan isn't more violent.
Until something wonderful happened.
Mr. Stone, you kidnapped your wife.
Imagine someone demanding money from me to keep Barbara alive. Idiots!
Now he's doing everything inhumanly possible so she'll never come back.
Don't you consider throwing a body off a cliff in the dead of night?
No, she'll be unconscious.
He's going to pay. He's going to pay.
Bad chance.
I'm going to drop the price to $10,000.
I'm being marked down?
That woman ain't coming back.
Ruthless People.
I mean, it's one of those movies where one line sells you right away. The fact that the kidnappers are lowering the price down on the kidnapping, and Bette Midler's going like, I'm being dropped down? Like, that's great stuff right there. Ruthless People is, of course, the story about a couple who kidnapped their ex-boss's wife, the ex-boss being played by Danny DeVito and the wife being played by Bette Midler. The couple is, of course, Judge Reinhold and Helen Slater, to get revenge and extort money from them. They soon realize he does not want her back and was planning to kill her himself. Meanwhile, the boss's mistress plans a blackmail attempt on him, which also fails to go as planned. And I'm starting to realize Danny DeVito did a lot of these dark comedies in the late 80s. Great dark comedies. I mean, this one, Throw Mama from the Train, War of the Roses. I mean, he was apparently the guy to go to if you wanted to make a movie like this. And sure enough, yeah, this is a great movie. Done by the Zucker Brothers, of course. This was kind of in between there. Let's go away from the spoof movies, but we might go back to them if people really want us to come back to them, because after this, of course, they did The Naked Gun, and this was a really funny movie. I mean, I don't think I really need to explain why. Written by Dale Launer, who also gave us My Cousin Vinny, so there is a masterclass of really good talent all across the board, from the director, to the writer, to the stars of this movie. I mean, this is a really fun movie, and very funny film. And it was actually one of Disney's highest-grossing release at the time, if you don't include re-releases. I mean, this was a massive hit for them. It was actually the last film that was changed over, that was Touchstone Films, before they changed it over to Touchstone Pictures, where it would have been for the next almost 30 years until they shut down themselves. But I mean, not much more you can really add to this movie that hasn't already been said. It's a really funny movie. Everybody in the cast works off each other very well. The comedy is really funny. It's dark. It's bleak in a good kind of way. It's a great movie, man. I enjoy the hell out of it. Ruthless People, excellent film. So let's go ahead and take a look at the other big comedy that came out this weekend. Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal starring in the action comedy Running Scared.
Follow that car!
Danny and Ray are no ordinary cops.
Did I come at a bad time?
The good news is,
Captain!
in 30 days, they're gonna...
Vamos. Hamster. We're gonna retire.
The bad news is,
Oh, no!
every crook in Chicago wants one last shot at them.
You're going to die for this.
Ooh. Gregory Hines, Billy Crystal, Running Scared, rated R. Advanced preview this Saturday. Check newspaper for showtime.
Another one of those movies that was trying to capture the buddy action comedy success that 48 Hours had about 4 years prior. But of course, after this came out, we had a much more successful comedy that everyone was trying to rip off with Lethal Weapon. But this one, it's complicated. Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal stars 2 Chicago police officers who attempt to bring down a drug dealer before they retire. So basically, it's if Danny Glover's character was played by both Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, and they were about closing in on retirement, and it's fine, but it's not a great movie. It's a movie where it benefits mostly because of Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines. They are the 2 guys that are really holding it together. They are a match made in comedy heaven with this film. Other than that, it's a film that really does struggle to find a new and intriguing hook to the buddy action comedy genre, while also trying to avoid being a 48 Hours ripoff, which, like I said, it kind of is. And yeah, there's really nothing about it that makes it stand out compared to that movie in general. And like I said, there'll be a much better movie that that uses that same type of formula that 48 Hours had, but adds a unique hook to it with Lethal Weapon. This film, though, not so much. Like I said, it's not a bad movie, but you really do expect a lot more, considering it's got Billy Crystal, it's got Gregory Hines, it's directed by Peter Hyams, who had just done 2010, The Year We Made Contact. He's a pretty solid director overall, but this one, definitely not one of his stronger films overall. Not a bad movie, but certainly one where I expected a lot more with the talent on board with it. It just didn't work for me overall, so take that for what you will. So let's go ahead and move on to, I guess after Ruthless People, the second best movie of the entire weekend, and that is, of course, Jim Henson's Labyrinth.
The creator of the Muppets, Jim Henson. And the creator of Star Wars, George Lucas. Take you to a dazzling world of adventure and fantasy.
You have 13 hours in which to solve the labyrinth.
The world of Labyrinth. Rated PG. Starts Friday at a specially selected theater near you.
I mean, how can you go wrong with a Jim Henson-directed film produced by George Lucas and starring Jennifer Connelly and David Bowie? I don't think you can, but this is a movie where you have a 15-year-old girl played by Connelly whose quest to reach the center of an enormous otherworldly maze to rescue her infant brother Toby, which Sarah visits away, which is wished away to Jareth the Goblin King, played by David Bowie. And it's definitely one of the more interesting collaborations of Jim Henson's later years, working with George Lucas and David Bowie, and it made for a very bizarre but still incredibly enjoyable movie to watch. I mean, I didn't even know this movie even existed until I watched Muppet Babies, and they had one episode where, you know, they took a lot of scenes from this movie. I think it was an episode where they were inside of a library. I guess Piggy lost a library book or something like that. But there was a whole thing where, you know, they were taking clips from this. They also, I think, they took clips from The Witches, which had just come out or was about to come out around that time. But I mean, that's the first time I ever heard of this movie. And when it took me a long time to actually watch the film after I saw that first episode of Muppet Babies. I think probably about 25 years after that episode aired. That's when I first watched this movie, and it took me a long time, but I'm glad I did, because it's a pretty damn good movie. On a technical level and a visual level, it's incredible what they're able to pull off with this. It's staggering, impressive to look at. The cast overall is great. Jennifer Connelly in one of her early film roles. David Bowie is great as the Goblin King. He's the heart and soul of the movie. Anytime he's on screen, he's carrying this movie to a whole nother level, giving one of the most over-the-top but fun performances ever. I mean, you can ask something like, but it's the only thing you can ask Bowie to do, man. I mean, like, you know, you remind me of the Babe, dance, magic dance, like that type of stuff. I mean, I can look at this and see why it has a large cult following. It's a very well done movie, nice visuals, good story, enjoyable characters, nice action, nice blending of comedy and serious moments. It's simply a testament to what makes Jim Henson so special. Even if it wasn't the success he had hoped for, the legacy it has had has shown. It's one of the great Henson classics, easily. And just like his other movie, The Dark Crystal, another great showing of what he can do as a filmmaker, man. One more I gotta say, Labyrinth's pretty freaking amazing. So let's go ahead and move on to our last movie, which is probably the one you've never even heard of, and can't blame me, because I had never heard of it either until I saw this on the thing last week. Let's talk about American Anthem.
This is American Anthem, the new vision of love and triumph, from the director of Purple Rain.
And we all just need the same thing. I'll tell you what I know. We're heading in the same direction, so never let it go.
American Anthem, rated PG-13. Opens Friday, June 27th. Check newspapers for theaters.
One of these movies that apparently was a trend going on. Let's take somebody from the Olympics and try to turn him into a movie star, because this came a year after Gymkhana, and Gymkhana is one of those so bad it's good movies. This one, it's a so bad movie. Mitch Gaylord, who was on the U.S. men's gymnastics team in 1984 Summer Olympics, plays Steve Tevry, a football player turned gymnast, seeking to join the United States Olympic gymnastics team. Cast also includes Janet Jones, Michael Pataki, Michelle Phillips. That's all I got for you. But it's directed by the guy who did Purple Rain, so there's that. But, yeah, I don't really know much about this movie in general. In fact, a lot of what I see from it, It's not a good movie. Someone identified, even Roger Ebert basically said, it's a very bad identikit sketch of Purple Rain, the previous movie by the same director. You could almost hear the police artist as he's trying to make a drawing based on half-witted descriptions of the big hit from the summer of '84. And yeah, it's a whole question and answer thing, and that's probably the best way to describe the film from what I've seen from the trailers. I haven't seen the movie, nor do I really have an interest in seeing the film in general, but hey, the soundtrack has got songs by John Parr, In Excess, and Stevie Nicks, so it's definitely a movie from the 1980s, but I've never seen this movie. I have no real intentions on seeing this film. Nobody's even come around and say, watch this movie. It's a cult classic, man. And no, it's not. From what I've seen, it's definitely not. I mean, let's put it this way. Mitch Gaylord lost to Howard the Duck at the Razzies for Worst New Star, so... If you're losing to a duck guy in a duck suit, that's probably not a good sign, so. But, I don't know, man. I've never heard of this movie beforehand. I never really was going to see it anyway, but, there you go. That's American Anthem for you. And so with all that said, we wrap up another episode of Time About the Movie's Flashback. We'll flashback to June 20th of 1986 with one of the big sequels of the year, The Karate Kid Part 2, the sequel, of course, to the '84 movie. And we have Ivan Reitman's interesting follow-up to Ghostbusters. You would think after a big special effects extravaganza like Ghostbusters, you wouldn't think he would go to a legal comedy drama of all things with Robert Redford, Deborah Winger, and Daryl Hannah, but lo and behold, Legal Eagles is that film, and we'll take a look at that, and also The Karate Kid Part 2 next time on the show. That'll be next week, but with all that said, thank you so much for watching this, and if you like what you saw, hit that like button, subscribe button, notification button, check out the last episode we did, as well as our playlist, and I will see you guys next week. So until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.